Pouring your heart, soul, and free time into a video game doesn't always guarantee you the best outcome. Some games actually push you to truly earn the best possible ending, even if that means going out of your way and influencing every possible decision. Let's take a look at 15 happy video game endings that you have to work really hard to earn. Mass Effect 2. BioWare made it pretty clear that the final mission of Mass Effect 2 was the suicide mission, so it's a given that bringing everyone back alive would be tough. However, accomplishing this meant recruiting all possible companions, completing their loyalty missions, and getting all of the ship upgrades. Oh, and when you're actually at the collector base, well, you need to choose the right person for each task, lest death take them. Do all of that and you'll get the happiest ending, which is everyone finding out that the Reapers are coming to kill them all. Speaking of which, Mass Effect 3. Effective military strength is a concept thrown around a lot in Mass Effect 3. It means having enough military might on your side and the military preparedness to use it. The latter staying at 50% and only increasing through multiplayer, so that's one separate mode that must be grinded. After that, the best ending, where the Earth is saved, the Reapers are destroyed, and Shepard lives, requires recruiting the Turians, Geth, Krogan, and Quarians to your side. Throw in the Rachni and Leviathans while you're at it. That means having high Paragon or Renegade status, making the right choices, having a save game from Mass Effect 2, and the list goes on. Suikoden series. The Suikoden series isn't messing around when it comes to earning everyone's happily ever after. In each game, you must recruit the 108 Stars of Destiny to get the best ending. The third game is an exception since this unlocks the ability to play as the villain. To reiterate, that's 108 different characters you need to have in your party, facilitating exploration, talking to almost everyone, and fulfilling their every possible demand. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Obey the owl or don't and kill Kuro. Or the wolf sacrifices himself to save Kuro. But what if there's a way to ensure Kuro's spirit lives on? That requires completing a ritual and transferring Kuro's spirit to the child of the rejuvenating waters. It's easy. First, speak to the old woman near the Ashina Castle sculptor's idol. Defeat Genichiro Ashina. Kill the corrupted monk. Then the folding screen monkeys. Get the mortal blade, defeat the owl, pick up some rice, and all of this before you need to get Snake Viscera or fight the dragon. Still, it ends the game on a hopeful note and hints of a sequel. Nier Automata. While not particularly difficult to achieve, getting the final ending in Nier Automata will take a good chunk of time. It requires playing through roughly the same sequence of story events twice. On the third playthrough, you alternate between 9S and A2, ultimately facing each other in the machine's tower. The battle must be completed from both perspectives, and then you need to fight the credits. Yes, the credits. But most important, if you want to ensure that others get to see the best ending where our heroes are resurrected, you have to delete all of your save data. If you did all of the side content, that could mean almost 60 hours of progress wiped out. Undertale. Much has been made of Undertale's pacifist run, and it does take some doing. First, you need to finish a playthrough of the game with only some monsters killed, and one of them better not be Toriel, damn you. Start a second playthrough and kill no monsters, not a single one, and Flowey will finally be revealed as Azrael, the son of Toriel and Asgore reincarnated. Defeat Flowey and the protagonist Frisk can be adopted by Toriel as humans and monsters mend their relations. And no, you definitely shouldn't go and kill everyone to see what happens. Nope, not at all. Man of Madonn. Supermassive Games is somewhat helpful in guiding you towards the best ending in Man of Madonn thanks to life bearings. However, you're not explicitly told what to do to unlock them, which can lead to some grisly consequences. To ensure everyone survives, you need to ignore Conrad's initial plan to steal the pirate speedboat, get Alex to propose to Julia, find the wedding ring on Danny's body later as well, make sure Julia decompresses during an underwater dive, locate the gas mask and eventually help Junior, and help Fliss and Brad survive. Oh, and don't lose the distributor cap. Detroit Become Human. Like Man of Madonn, there are some fairly arbitrary choices that have to be made to get the best ending in Detroit Become Human. All 3 central characters, Kara, Marcus, and Connor, have to survive. Otherwise, there are just a bunch of decisions to make, from Connor being sympathetic to deviants and being trusted by Hank, to Marcus being generally peaceful in his revolution. For her part, Kara has to avoid being captured or alerting the authorities after escaping with Alice. If everything goes according to plan, and Marcus refuses the FBI's deal in the end, then peace reigns supreme. Vampir. Vampir is a game about building relationships with different NPCs and ultimately deciding when to feed on them to augment your strength. Not feeding on any citizen throughout the game, thus keeping yourself weak, is the only way to ensure Jonathan embarks with Elizabeth to find a cure. While drinking blood in combat is fine, and you can kill citizens that turn undead from your choices, there's more. You have to mesmerize Dorothy Crane and Aloysius Dawson, thus letting the latter die, allow Edgar Swansea to die, spare McCollum, and donate blood to Sean Hampton for the best ending. This War of Mine. Taking place during the Siege of Sarajevo, This War of Mine is an unrelenting look at the civilian casualties of war. You have to manage different survivors, ensuring their health, mood, and hunger are in decent shape before a ceasefire is declared. Except the ceasefire arrives at random times. Supplies are limited, and you have to decide whether to commit heinous acts to get what you need, or risk starvation, death, or madness. If you don't murder or rob anyone, then any surviving character gets a happy ending. Guacamelee. Defeating Carlos, the big bad of Guacamelee, isn't that much of a headache. It's saving El Presidente's daughter, Lupita, that's the main issue. She won't survive the ritual at the end if you just finish the game normally. However, gather the 6 orbs, which include defeating the Infernio trials with gold medals and defeating Carlos to get the 7th orb and ultimately save Lupita. She and Juan then get married and live happily, until the Mexiverse is threatened in Guacamelee 2. We're noticing a pattern with some of these sequels. Dishonored series. Why be sneaky when you could make full destructive use of your powers in Dishonored 1 and 2? Well, to ensure the future of Dunwall, of course. Chaos is the measure here. Kill too many people and the world will slowly change, morphing into a plague-filled mess. However, if you're silent and stealthy, only completing your objectives and ending a few people, thus resulting in minimal chaos, you'll be treated to the best endings. In Dishonored 1, this means Emily becomes Empress of Dunwall and the plague is defeated. In Dishonored 2, either Emily or Corvo is saved and proceed to salvage the city while Sokolov gets to go home with a clear conscience. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is one of the all-time great dystopian stories, a horrifying adventure that truly tests your mental resolve. It sees 5 characters faced with psychodramas constructed by AM, a deranged supercomputer, which describes them as quests of speared eyeballs and dripping guts and the smell of rotting gardenias. Only by overcoming their flaws and seeking redemption can the humans take on AM. Even then, you still have to make the right decisions and save the remaining 750 humans froze on the moon. And even then, at least one character has to take AM's place and become mankind's overseer. Oddworld: Abe's Odyssey. Oddworld: Abe's Odyssey has received its fair share of touch-ups and changes in the remake New and Tasty. However, both games task you with saving a number of Mudokons to get the best ending. Keep in mind that Abe can't fight and must solve puzzles and navigate traps to save his fellow kind. The original game required you to save 50 Mudokons, while New and Tasty required saving 150. Carry out your task and the Mudokons will band together and destroy Moloch, ultimately saving Abe. Max Payne 2. It's not canon, but the best ending in Max Payne 2 is the one where Mona Sachs survives and shares a kiss with Max. So, how do you get it? By completing the game on Dead on Arrival difficulty, which has the most ruthless enemies and no adaptive difficulty, so no matter how much you die, the game will not get any easier. Oh, and there are limited saves, so you can't revert to an earlier point if the goings get tough. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.